Hey guys, Arm&Gun here, today with your daily dose of gun education. Today we're not talking about how crazy cool RAL 8000 finishes are. Whether it's tanadize or baby poop, it tends to be kind of an I hate it or I love it affair. But fun fact, it is more durable than your traditional black anodized finishes like this, and that's because the anodizing compound needs to have a dye added to it to get it that color. Unlike clear ano, made popular by the Honey Badger. You can see my SLR receiver set here as an example. I really need to build this out. I'm thinking a Shorty 8.6 blackout. Anyways, major tangent. What we're actually talking about here today is how SBRs kick all the ass. And that's not to say they don't also not suck, double negative. But today we're forgetting about all that inconvenient negativity and just focusing on their perfection. I'm gonna go through 5 different examples why these beauties right here are superior to their long boy adversaries. So we're gonna talk about 10 guns today. Today's video is gonna be freaking gun packed. 5 SBRs or more, there's 7 or 8 around here. And then we're gonna basically pair them off one by one with a long boy equivalent for each example to demonstrate why the SBRs absolutely crush it. And then just when all you SBR owners out there are counting your blessings, next week we're going to throw the reverse at you. 5 reasons, 5 things I absolutely hate about SBRs, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows with these things. Some things actually really do suck, and well, it wouldn't be very responsible for me to overlook them. But fear not, at the end of the day, there's plenty of reason to love an SBR, despite its shortcomings, because, well, it's short, and that just has too many benefits. Also, I'll note up front that my definition of SBR takes the R quite literally. The R being rifle, therefore rifle caliber, so there's no PCCs or SMGs in this one. Anyways, going through the 5 pros is going to make up the meat and potatoes of this video. Then we'll close with a summary of our platitudes of perfection and end with another gun pill. Let's get into it. But first, a quick shout out to one of our product partners. Because this is a gun channel and YouTube is pretty much a bag of dicks when it comes to monetization, and Patreon doesn't bear much fruit either, due to most of you guys rating me off as some trust fund baby or just playing with daddy's guns. So as a result, enjoy these ads. But at least revel in the fact that they are going to be more relevant to you than Raid Shadow Legends or HelloFresh. Today we're kicking things off with UF Pro. In case you missed me professing my undying love for these pants in the Backcountry Military Gear for Civilians hour-long video I did a couple weeks ago. These guys have an integrated waist flex system, a little flexi panel here, integrated belt loop, and the idea behind these is, well, it's definitely intended for busting your butt in the backcountry and adjusting your fit to stay with you all day. But even in the everyday, after a big lunch, you might want to open things up a little bit. Keep these things hugged right around your hips, comfortably, so that the nice high inseam ever rides up and caresses your crotch, providing the perfect anatomical fit. Plus, they got vents. By the way, I know I'm constantly asked what I do for a living to afford all this stuff. I see the comments. I occasionally respond. It's no secret that I don't broadcast what I do for a living, but I do only earn a fairly modest salary. I just have expensive taste, aka the HK G28. But I do this weird thing where I focus on a single hobby. So this is basically what 7 years of disposable income looks like. 7, 8, 10, something like that. On guns. Basically, that's all it is, guys. You can do it too. It's just like when they tell you to open a savings account when you're 20 because it's gonna make a big deal by the time you're 60. Well, I did the same thing with guns, and it's awesome. Also, keep in mind, I don't own this place. I rent. Definitely live by the motto, live cheap, stack deep, and tall. But in all seriousness, I do need a little more balance in my life, and I'm definitely focusing on buying a property this spring. All right, guys, back on topic, SBRs, and why they kick all the ass. Starting off with the SIG MCX Rattler, this 5.5-inch 300 blackout. This thing is a good old time, and it is done up just the way I like it. Very nice trigger. So this thing is super tiny, and that is the first benefit of an SBR, a short barrel rifle, a rifle with a short barrel. And that tiny overall length in tight spaces, whether you're operating out of a car, in around a building, urban areas, chances are a small barrel is going to be much better than, well, honestly, unless you're a diehard, hardcore trained professional, you could probably stand to lose a few inches and a few pounds, foot-pounds of energy, that is, from going with a shorter in inches barrel. In that type of environment, you're still going to do just fine with something like this. Now, let's compare this to literally the longest, and I know, we'll talk about that, longest similar type of rifle that I have. Again, it's a 5.56 SIG 550 sniper, and there we go, just butt to butt. You know what? This is probably squared off. Wow, just a hair over, but almost double the overall length. I know that's an extreme example with almost a 26-inch barrel, but can you imagine trying to clear a house with that, or have that between your seat and whatever when you're driving? No. That, yeah. So there you go. Even lop that right off there. Pretend that extra 10 inches, that's generous. It's probably a little more than 10 inches. A barrel doesn't exist, and we're still a major difference. You can still have the longest can that exists for 30 cal, you'd still be less length. Can't honestly, the carry handle, well, yesterday sucked. News broke that a rock in this industry, Neil Curry, passed away, and I figured, you know what, the world's already burning, what the hell? So threw that on there, made a post on my IG, which, if you're not following, definitely check it out. But yeah, it was a sad day, and I found solace in carry handles. Now, reason number 2, but my velocity. And this time we're using the XCRM in 308 9.5-inch barrel to tell the tale of why losing a little bit of velocity really doesn't matter that much in the context of, well, where SBRs shine. CQB urban environments under 300 yards. So that guy right there, you might think, 9.5-inch 308, that's got to be freaking useless. Well, you're wrong. So listen up, boy. Now, I could approach this from some guys really get into the weeds with velocity, and they state that you need to have at least 2,500 feet per second when the bullet enters the torso to, well, the body cavity, whatever, to create enough cavitation to really mess with and damage the major organs. Well, I can tell you that in close combat environments, goodies and baddies have been doing that with 9mm pistols and less for like 150 years. So I think they've gotten by without. And the fact that this is actually producing, this might surprise you, a 147 grain projectile at like 2,200 feet per second, that is pumping out 1,650 foot-pounds of energy with a 9.5-inch barrel. And that's actually an incredibly controllable system. The XCR platform in itself it's awesome. Definitely check it out. Recommend it. But that just goes to show. And then here we got a 10.5-inch 308. So throw another 100 feet per second at it. It's doing really well. It does way more than you think, way more than it needs. Still surprisingly effective in short distances. 7.62 by 39, also really good. You don't gain a whole lot between 10.5 and 16 inches depending on the load. So 123 grain is what I did my research on. And out of a 7.5-inch barrel, this little BB right here, you're still getting, I think, 1,950 feet per second, somewhere around there, which is north of 1,000 foot-pounds of energy on target. This guy over here has a 11.8 barrel, so even more. Now compare that to a 5.56. Well, not that 5.56. That 5.56 is gorgeous. It's a 12.5-inch barrel, so that's still spitting like 2,700 feet per second. That thing is lethal. Everything's lethal. A 22 out of a 2-inch can be lethal. But if you take 5.56 down to like 4 or 5 inches, it's still crazy fast, like 2,000 feet per second. It's fast. But it's only pumping out like 500 foot-pounds of energy. So what else is 5 inches and puts out 500 foot-pounds of energy? 9mm, exactly. So in that case, use a 9mm. Maybe there's finally a good case for a PCC. So there you go. But the problem with 223 is you're starting out with 55 grains. Now you can bump it up to 77 and you will do a little bit better, but ultimately 300 blackout, which excels in short barrels, that's 110. 110 grain is going to be very effective. You got the 7.62 by 39, 123 grain, 308, 147 grain. Those cartridges just have way more weight behind them. So even though you're losing some speed, it's not a cartridge like 5.56 that's solely dependent on speed to be effective. So in summary, Don't worry about this. If you're inside 300 meters, 200 meters, urban environments where the CQB stuff comes into play and where you're going to make the most benefits from having a short barrel, not having a long barrel, impede your progress, whatever your mission, then you don't need to worry about the velocity. Just chill out. That brings us to reason number 3, which we'll demonstrate with that little guy. So that is actually a 13.9 pin and weld, which makes it overall 16.1, something like that. So it's legal. It's not considered an SBR. It is a rifle. It's kind of a cheating way to get to a rifle, but it's a good cheat to employ. It's also my ADM, and I love it dearly. This is a beautiful, awesome rifle. And if you can't go NFA, can't do SBRs, that's an amazing choice. And if you're okay welding a muzzle device to the end of your barrel and basically limiting your can considerations, well, again, maybe that's for you. But 13.7, 13.9, it is more than I think you need in most of these cases, and you can lop off 1.2 to 1.4 inches by going with something like a 12.5 or even an 11.85, like this Mark 111 by PWS, and basically retain almost all of the velocity. If it were me, I know there's issues with, no, there's no issues. We're forgetting about the issues until next week, but if there were issues, yeah, I understand. It sucks. But having a barrel with the ability to swap up muzzle devices and suppressors as you like is ideal. But the point of this was actually using a suppressor, having a small enough weapon system to entertain the use of a suppressor. A suppressor is one of those force multipliers you definitely don't want to be without if you don't absolutely need to be. So that's already a pretty long stick. Imagine throwing that on, well, something even longer, like that SP1. If it could take a can, that would actually be, that would be some pretty peak aesthetic, I think. An SP1 with a suppressor, that might have to happen. Anyways, your average 16-inch, this isn't even a 16-inch, but it's got a long handguard. Imagine a can off the end of that. It's just, I can't. It's too much. Or the G28, there we go, 16.5-inch barrel. Imagine throwing a can on the end of this. It's just becoming, now that's a DMR, so that's a different use case. That's fine. But when you want to run it, that's also a freaking boat anchor. So you don't want to be running around with that thing anyways. It's like 11 pounds. It's crazy. Steel upper receiver, by the way. That's why it's neat. And this is anodized, and this is anodized. This is painted. You can tell the difference. But anyways, my point being is go short, because then you can always make it longer. You can always have the room to add a suppressor without ending up with something gargantuan that's unwieldy and just awkward. And it's going to hold you back from performing your mission. So again, you can always make it longer, so start shorter. Be a grower, not a SIG 550 sniper. Reason 4, less barrel, less weight. Actually, that's basically, it's true, but it doesn't account for very much. It's pretty fractional, the amount of barrel and handguard weight you save by going with something short. But that's okay, because this was just a bonus reason. The actual reason, number 4, is concealability. You can't even tell there's a gun in there, can you? Well, I mean, it's close, but that's pretty good. This was mostly in there, and that's a little like 6-inch by 12-inch, 6-inch by 11-inch kit bag. Help people gear, this stuff. Oh, so good. But yeah, that's concealable. You can take something like this and have it stowed away nice and compact, concealed, inconspicuous, and get it into places where you need some hefty firepower in a small package. So now let's try that with a regular rifle. See, guys, there's clearly a rifle in that bag, and it's even one with a folding stock. Really no excuse there, guys. And this only a 16-inch barrel. Feature partner number 2, which did entail a slight wardrobe change. Guys, this is the Fuzzy Wuzzy Sherp from Qilo Tactical. I recently showed this off in the XCRM video, the little short I did of that guy, and I had a whole bunch of comments, like a bunch, asking all about this. Where can I get it? What is it? And then I told some people, and they were disappointed because they sold out. Now, Qilo Tactical does collabs. They do lots of really cool things, lots of interesting garments in really cool. This is actually frog skin, jungle, tropic frog skin. Really cool patterns. But they do limited releases only. So best thing, follow them on Instagram. Watch for those drops. Here's another Sherp in all its glory, and they did say it's going to be Sherp season soon, so get on it because they be dropping. And for reason 5, guys, SBRs are just sexy. And yes, that is a good enough reason to make this list, because look at this beauty. Mark 111 PWS. This is a AK style AR. Long stroke piston system in this thing. These are beautifully smooth shooters. And this 11.85-inch barrel is just a lovely compromise. Then we got the 12.5-inch Cobalt Kinetics Professional Series. This thing, the fit and finish is fantastic. Look at this billet grip. Everything is super tight. Guys, the secret sauce on this one is in that monolithic upper, but just not even monolithic, but it's basically pseudo monolithic. Man, what a beaut. I think unless you're talking Knight's Armament, this thing has dimples, and that does something to me. But this is a 16-inch with the MAMs, thank you ma'am, up front. And this literally called into question everything I had thought about for this point. But they did make a 14.5, and I think it had dimples. And that would undeniably be sexier because of the laws of SBRs. So, by that logic, I must again say, SBRs, they are just the sexiest. And for whatever reason, that matters. All right, guys, in summary, I told you I would bring all these perfections of platitude to a close, and they are as such. 1, overall length. The SBRs be small, and that helps you in a lot of, basically every situation with a firearm can be improved if it's smaller. Reason number 2, lost velocity. Now, that actually, it's real, but it's not that big of a deal in short, close quarters combat situations, as evidenced by this 308 XCRM. 147 grain projectile, 22 feet per second, 1,650 foot-pounds of energy on target, which is guaranteed to be relatively, hopefully, close to your muzzle device. Again, if you're stretching out to 400, 500, 600 yards, that's the case for something longer. But when you're close and personal, well, and the big trick there to being effective with rounds that are losing velocity, especially 5.56, is you want to pair it with a higher grain, higher weight projectile, because at least then you're not solely reliant on speed to make your cartridge effective. You've also got some mass there to back it up. So 5.56, not so good. Go to 77, that'll help. But if you can, go to 300 Blackout, 7.62x39, or 308. Also, this is just such a fun system, man. Reason number 3, that little guy right there. Basically start off with a short enough platform so that you will absolutely not be discouraged from using a suppressor. Because a suppressor, or a silencer, technically a silencer, is a fantastic force multiplier. Not only does it reduce the sound signature by usually around 20 decibels, 2 orders of magnitude, but it's also going to reduce muzzle flash, concussion, your entire signature overall. Not only what you experience, but what your adversary experiences as well. And if you need to stay more covert, maybe that's your way. Anyway, start small so you can grow if you need to. Reason number 4 was you save a little bit of weight, but mostly it's concealability. Now, you might not fit in a Hill People Gear kit bag, but you can fit into pretty small packs. And that's great for getting something that's going to pack a punch into an area where you can't just walk in with a Fight Light MCR belt-fed machine gun. But also, this has a 12.5-inch barrel, I think 12-inch barrel, which pops right out. Boop. Well, I have to reduce the bolt to get her out, but it'll pop right out, and then you could get that also into a smaller situation. So, if your rifle has a removable barrel, or a quick change system of some sort like that, as had been popular a couple years ago, that'll also really help. Also, no, I'm not farting. My floor's got a few creaks in it as I walk around here, so, which is what a person who was actually farting would say. But reason number 5, they are sexy as all get out. Don't deny it. SBRs are sexier than their full-size counterparts. That's just the way it goes. So there you go. That's the list. Thanks for tuning in. Stick around for the gun pill. It's shorter today. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Arm&Gun, out. Boom diggity. Our gun pill sponsor today is Right to Bear Insurance, guys. Don't get caught after defending your own life or the life of someone else, with no one defending you after the fact, because it's no secret you can get charged, and they can throw the book at you, and they can make you prove your innocence in court, and that's expensive for you to do. Even if you're totally in the right, this can happen. So it's great to carry firearms liability insurance. It can be there watching your back after you've watched your own. All right, guys, GunPill number 3. I'm going to sound a little bit like Clark Kent's dad here, but with great power comes great responsibility. And while I fully agree it should be everyone's right to be able to protect their own lives and protect those of whom they love and when they're with, or just whoever they happen to be on the street with, and something happens and they want to step in and intervene to save a life. So that's all great and fine and dandy, and I 100% support that. However, I also believe there's the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone. And your right shouldn't catastrophically overlap with somebody else's. Basically what I'm saying here is these are all, they have the potential to be incredibly dangerous if not used properly, and that can fall under a few different areas. So if you're gonna be out there on the range having fun, or even in the backwoods, in the back 40, be cognizant. Don't use this thing and just be willy-nilly. We see a lot of those videos of individuals shooting up into the air and celebrating, and that's incredibly dangerous and has killed people before. So don't be doing that. Be conscious. Know where your bullet's gonna go before you shoot it, and be very cognizant of that. More so, that's what's gonna transfer over when you get into something in public and you have to use your firearm. I'm literally tripping over guns here. So that's important. Basically, practice good habits. Keep your guns stored well. I understand if you want to have something quick and at the ready to defend yourself with, you don't want to have your gun locked up in a way that's not accessible when the time you need it, but don't have it where it can be easily accessed by those who aren't supposed to access it. This includes children. These deaths are all preventable. Don't have your gun lying around where they can get at it. Those little mags, little quick attack safes, quick RFID things that pop open, those can be a good option. You also don't want your stuff so out in the open, especially if you're in an area that's prone to break-ins. Keep it at least hidden or concealed or something. Don't make your stuff easy pickings for criminals, because then guess what? It's another crime gun, it's another stat that's going to be used against the community, and it's not good. Argo, what do you think? You think you want to go outside for a pee, I think. Yep. And there's Aurora. But you guys definitely agree, gun safety is important. Yes. Aurora. Good girl. Good girl. Look at you. So cute. Anyways, tangent. Basically, you can sum this up into a couple small points. If you're going to expect yourself to use your rifle at some point in time, understand it, know how to use it. Also, keep your firearms stored in a way that's going to prevent them from getting taken by the wrong people. Practice good habits so that they translate into a basically instinctual situation. Fight or flight kicks in big time, adrenaline's rushing. You're going to want those basic good safety instincts to be ingrained. And overall, just practice good, safe, responsible use. Don't be a statistic. Don't be the reason someone else's person didn't go home because of a stray, accidental, negligent shot. Just be a good human. And with that, I'll bid you adieu. If you're still here, you were awesome, so you get another boom diggity. Boom diggity. Also, look at this. Thompson M1A1 with a little mini die cast, really nice, and made by Goat Guns. Actually moves, has little bullets in here. It's got a mag release. This thing pops out. Look at that. Bullets in there, and they move. More on these guys coming soon. Might be doing something fun with these guys.